In a village lived a handsome young man named Wahyu. He was born into a wealthy family. Despite this, he did not become a lazy young man who took advantage of this parent wealth. Indeed, he grew up to be a young man full of independence. Besides being independent, Wahyu was a young man who was always responsible for everything he did. So it was no surprise that many women were crazy about him. However, one day, as Wahyu was walking across his farmyard, he saw a strong woman about to approach him. The longer Wahyu stared at her, the closer and clearer the woman seemed. Wahyu looked at the woman with full of question, as if he was experiencing this feeling for the first time. The closer the woman got to him, the faster his heart pounded. His eyes seemed to twinkle, wanting to express how beautiful the woman in front of him was. The smile on Wahyu's cheeks grew more pronounced. It was as if he wanted to break through the walls, borders, and greet the stranger woman. Unaware, the woman was already standing in front of Wahyu. He looked surprised and excited unusually, trying to extend his hand and introduce himself. But he felt he couldn't speak, let alone extend his hand to get acquainted with her. He felt the day was both the best and worst day for him, because he felt so foolish for only being able to stand frozen in front of the beautiful woman. Soon the woman greeted Wahyu. Wahyu became even more silent, frozen before her, as if his heart had stopped and dropped out. The woman introduced herself to Wahyu, saying her name was Alice. She approached him to say that she was the woman who would accompany Wahyu for the rest of his life. Wahyu was shocked and could only remain silent, speechless. He was confused about what to do. On one hand, he was happy, but on the other hand, he was confused about what was happening to him. Not long after Wahyu's parents come over to them, informing Wahyu that the woman in front of him was his future wife. Wahyu's parents had banned the engaged marriage secret from Wahyu, because they knew that Wahyu didn't dare to talk to a woman if he liked her. Therefore, his parents wanted their son to marry quickly, saying that Wahyu was at an exact stable to have a companion who would always be with him. It turned out that Alice was a woman who lived simple. Alice's parents had left her for good a long time ago. Although she lived alone, she remained a tireless woman, striving to support herself. It was not uncommon for her to share some of her possessions with people in need around her. During a party event, she accidentally met Wyatt's parents. It turned out that they had been observing Alice as a potential partner for Wahyu for the past 2 years. Then Wahyu's parents offered them to get married. Unexcitedly, Alice agreed and promised to come to their house and was willing to be married to Wahyu. Wahyu felt increasingly confused and he felt that his life was full of lucky and happiness, especially with the appearance of Alice, a figure he had never imagined would come into his life. Wahyu's parents convinced him that this time he should be brave enough to take a step forward in life stage. Especially since Wahyu was already 30 years old, Wahyu finally dared to ask Alice to marry him. Although he felt nervous and awkward, and this was the first time he had met face to face with a stranger woman he was suddenly going to marry. Wahyu assured Alice that he would marry her with all his heart and should and take full responsibility for guiding her. to be a pious wife obedient to her religion. Alice expected Wahyu's proposal to marry him because he had in fact liked Wahyu the first time she saw him. Wahyu's parents were impatient to immediately get a beautiful daughter-in-law. They decided to marry Wahyu and Alice right then and there at the religion affairs office. After they arrived and prepared for the wedding vow, Wahyu felt very nervous and heavy-hearted about it. Not because he didn't want to, but because he was about to take on such heavy duty as a husband. Wahyu thought that when he married, her responsibility would increase significantly, and he would have to educate his children and wife, so that they would be protected from the torment of hellfire and build a household that was tranquil, loving, and merciful. Soon after Wahyu performed the wedding vow, but at the same time avoided his mouth to his mother, seemed to be calling him. At the moment, Wahyu felt as if his body was poking wet and slightly in pain. When he woke up, he was at the edge of the rich field in front of his house. He found out that he had fallen after being hit by a grandfather reading a policy was thrown into the rice field and find it. Wahyu looked like a tramp who hadn't bathed for months, and he was slightly disoriented because everything he had experienced before felt surreal. Finally, he realized that everything that had happened was an imagination during his unconscious state. He quickly hurried home because he suddenly remembered he had to finish his work. Upon arriving home, he immediately cleaned himself up until he looked handsome again. Then he quickly rushed off to deliver the college ordered by the village head to his house. On the way, as he rode his antique bicycle, he thought about how lucky he would be if the incident were real to get such a beautiful woman. Wahyu daydreamed that if she were in the real world, he would gather her to the end of the earth to get that beautiful woman. However, Wahyu resolved that it was a hope that would never come true and wished he could faint again just to see the woman one more time. Soon, he arrived in front of the village head house and handed over the order he had brought. Not long after, the village head's daughter named Julie called her father. At the moment, Wahyu turned around and was so shocked that he stumbled and fainted. He couldn't believe how confusing everything he experienced was. A successful person is one who always strives hard to achieve a better life than had before. And a lucky person is one who can change their life for the better and be useful to church around them and feel when the others are happy.